So in this last Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, some of the big things that stood out to me were these announcements of new cloud games coming to the Switch, Control and Hitman. I felt like the cloud thing with the Switch was kind of a dying idea. We hadn't heard about a lot of cloud stuff for a while, but apparently not. Control launched the day of the announcement, so I picked it up, suffered through it in a lot of ways, and want to talk about my thoughts on the experience today. I will say right off the bat, the game itself I think is pretty mediocre. Going into it, I knew it had all these Game of the Year award accolades, but I hadn't played it myself. It's sort of a psychological thriller mixed in with a third-person shooter. It's made by Remedy, the Alan Wake guys, so you're in for something sort of like that. Alan Wake in an office building, I guess, is just a weird choice, but in this video I want to focus specifically on the cloud game factor. I played the game in a variety of ways, docked with Wi-Fi, docked with a wired connection, in handheld mode with Wi-Fi. In all the modes, you'll notice the game looks very impressive. It runs at 1080p 60 frames per second if you play it in performance mode, something you rarely hear on the Switch. And on top of being just a visually impressive game, it also has pretty over-the-top physics. You can force throw and push stuff in the environment and get these Luigi's Mansion 3 level crazy physics moments, which I would say is cool seeing all this run on the Switch, but it's not really running on the Switch, is it? I've actually seen some confusion still about the whole cloud gaming thing because, again, we haven't been talking about it much lately. So just to make sure people are clear, with these cloud games, you're not downloading the game or anything. You're streaming it, like how you stream a YouTube video. The game is being played on a server far, far away, and you're basically streaming the picture back to your Switch, which brings with it some issues. Input lag is probably the biggest concern for players with cloud games. I actually didn't have many issues in terms of input lag. I was surprised with how well the game actually controlled, at least while there were no connection interruptions. The delay wasn't awful, definitely noticeable, but I've seen much worse. I'll show some shots of me trying to film myself with my phone and press the shoot button, so you kind of see the time between pressing the button and the shoot happening on screen. Not too bad. Definitely, people, if you are going to play games like this, make sure, if you're playing them on a TV especially, you're in game mode, because that'll help with that. But it's those connection interruptions that are a problem. Unlike a YouTube video, you can't buffer a game you're streaming, so whenever your connection dips even slightly, you'll notice stutter, lag, and the like. Playing on Wi-Fi, whether it be in handheld or portable mode, I noticed this happening pretty frequently. There'd be gaps of time where I'd go a few minutes maybe without it happening, and even if it is just a quick judder, it's just so jarring and takes you completely out of the experience. And it's one of those things, once it happens, your mind kind of starts dwelling on it, like, oh, is it about to happen again? And you stop really enjoying the game. Now, with the wired connection, I had much fewer issues in this arena, much longer periods without the game spazzing out, and I'll fully admit there were almost times where I forgot I was playing a cloud game. But that couldn't happen because of my biggest issue with this cloud game. Pretty much the whole time I played it, the sound was terrible. It would constantly cut in and out, which is super annoying, and it was almost always delayed by like half a second or so. So during dialogue scenes, mouth movements wouldn't sync up, and my gunshots and everything were off in the audio department. Wow, the future of gaming, it's here. So I've had a lot of issues with the cloud version of Control on Switch, and this thing will cost you. They were pretty sneaky with the price with this thing, actually. You can't buy the game without playing it for a certain amount of time, which I think is a good idea. Make people play it to see the experience before they buy. The price isn't displayed or anything until you hit that time and go to the store for purchase. But it's $40, which, yeah, I'd be hard-pressed to say this game in this state is even worth $20. Even that, I think, would be asking a lot. In fact, I think I've seen Control go for like $20 on other platforms since it's been out for so long. And this is why I think this whole possible cloud push we may be about to see as just not working on the Switch. If you're not aware, there's actually a story floating around that references to a cloud version of Resident Evil 3 were found in the data mining of Control on Switch. Like I said at the beginning, we know Hitman is coming this way. Seems to me like this may be more of a thing, and I don't think it's a smart idea. I don't see it happening. I don't see it being successful. Even in the best case scenario, you're totally killing so much of the reason to play games on the Switch with this. Like, even if you can somehow pull a steady Wi-Fi connection so you don't have any issues playing it in handheld mode at home, you're not going to be able to play any of these games like actually out and about, like on a train, plane, etc. Just that's not going to happen. And they're still upcharging us for these games. $40 for a cloud version of this game that came out well over a year ago just isn't okay in my opinion. This is the laziest ways to get games running on the Switch, and it shows. If you want to pull this crap, the price should be reflective. Like I said, maybe $20, especially when, again, I can get the games much cheaper on other platforms. And going off of what I was just saying, you're taking away most of the reason to play on the Switch, so I don't see why people wouldn't want to get these games cheaper somewhere else and not have to deal with all the cloud issues. I feel like to even be interested in this, I'd have to be in a situation where my only way to play this game is on the Switch. I have no other modern gaming hardware. Not to mention the issues this brings in terms of ownership, with it being a digital game. I talk about this all the time, my concern about these services and that going away, and the streaming stuff is the most unreliable in terms of longevity. At least with a standard digital release, if one of these online services gets shut down one day, you'll still be able to download the game one last final time before that happens. With cloud streaming, nothing is downloaded, so say these services get discontinued for the Switch down the line, that's it. The games are going to be 100% gone. You'll have no way to access them. Yeah, just not worth it at all to me. And here's the thing, because I know the main defense with these releases will be, well, that's the only way you were going to get this game on the Switch, okay? If that's the case, I don't want it at all. I'd rather any work that went into these cloud games go into bringing something to the Switch that can actually run on the hardware. Like, again, this is Remedy. Tell me in the comments, let me know, would you rather have this cloud version of Control, which is a newer game, or would you rather have just a port of Alan Wake, let's say, that actually runs on the hardware? Or the Max Payne games, maybe, a physical release of those, a Max Payne collection. I think that would be pretty sick, actually. And much more successful. So that's kind of my takeaway. To the companies that are thinking about going this route, I would think twice. I don't think this is going to work out for you, and chances are there are much better releases, re-releases even, that you could be investing resources into to get actually running on the Switch. The only way I see this cloud stuff going over well, at least in the near future, is if we get maybe xCloud support with Game Pass, which I think could be possible one day considering Microsoft and Nintendo's relationship, which would mean Game Pass subscribers could stream games to their Switch like they currently can do on phones and tablets for free. Because when it's free, it's like, why not mess around with it? But I just don't think people are going to want to pay top shelf prices for these shoddy experiences. I think this stuff's going to fail big time. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Control and these cloud games in the comments. What are your thoughts on cloud games in general? And do you think there's money to be made here charging premium prices for people to stream games to their Switch? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the cloud version of Control. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter at JohnnyZakari and join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends. Link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.